Today we're going to look at this Honda generator. We've got a pull cord that needs replacing. I think everything else on this unit works fine, but let's take a closer look. These things really suck to get inside. Let's pull the side panel off first. See what we're up against. And we got to pull the electronics side off first. Pull that panel back and pull the pull start assembly out this end. This guy's a little rusty. It's been stored on a boat. Whew, that doesn't feel very good. Let's get out the impact driver. All right, here's the setup. We got the 3/8 square impact drive, 1/4-inch socket. Not the best, but I really couldn't find an adapter that'll work better, so I'll give it a try. These are great tool for this sort of thing. Phillips head screws are about all I really use them on. Working on older motorcycles and whatnot, it's pretty invaluable. There's one. Whew, those are bad. I don't know. Maybe we'll leave those where they are. See if we can get this whole panel off without them. Maybe we can spray some lubricant behind them. Yeah, that one came out. Are we on it? Or did we strip it? Oh, we got it. Impact driver for the win. Yeah, that's the way. I think we ought to replace these. So these holes are blind. Unfortunately, no getting penetrant back there. But I don't know if pulling this panel will help us at all either. What are we hitting? The bottom? Does the bottom tray need to come out? Or this top clamshell? We're getting into it now, huh? Maybe let's pull the side panel off. I think there's some components under there that are fouling up on it. 3 for 4. Yeah, pretty bad. Oh, I got it. One and done. You know, the threads aren't all that crusty. It's just the heads are done. This thing's like a jigsaw puzzle. Does that just pull off of there? Oh yeah, there we go. These are a 10 mil, looks like. Oh. Guess he's had rubber feet on him at some point. I was wondering what those were. Oh. Yeah. Oh, that explains it. I think it's a nut and bolt. So let's learn from our mistakes. Take this other one from the other side. There we go. Come on, what kind of socket is supposed to fit in there? Hey.
I knew it. You want some video stuff?
I'm content creating. Cool, so we got that side off without much drama. Here's all our electronics. There's our pull start we're trying to get to. I wonder if we can sneak that out. Let's see, will this side come off? I got a screw there. Okay. Does that just come with the panel, I wonder? There we go. Didn't even need to take it. We're in. I think we're supposed to pull the fuel tank. Look at that. Comes right out of the clamshell. Okay. That's not bad. Fuel outlet is on this side right there. It's got these rubber mount points here and here. So it needs to get past this brace. Or maybe I can just flop it back. I can probably get to it now. Maybe I can just tie that back. All right, that's where we're trying to go. And there's number 2. Number 3. Yeah, have you seen that before? I don't know if you can see that. There's this little rubber flap covering the head of that bolt. What purpose could that possibly serve? The Honda engineering team is something else with these. The packaging and the space efficiency of these little machines does not make them easy to work on, but boy, you gotta marvel at them. There you go. I gotta run and grab the handle for this guy. I got my new line in the background. Bring you right back. All right, I couldn't find the handle that goes with this, but we'll make use of this spare for the moment. Get the old temporary line out of there. Should be more than enough. It's already knotted for us. It's one of those details I've heard. I don't know if it makes any difference, but if you burn the knot a little bit, hold it tighter and it won't come undone. But it's not like I've ever had trouble with them coming undone anyway. It's just one of those details that makes you feel a little bit special. Let's go one more wrap. Yeah, one more. Let's go for good measure. Now we don't have to recut the end of the line. I guess we gotta run it through here too, huh? Well, how about that orientation? Can you see a little better that way? Here's that rubber mount I was talking about earlier. What on earth could that be for? Okay, now the hard part. Sliding her all back together. Should we give it a try? Fire her up while it's all apart. Watch it shake itself to bits. Yeah, that could be fun. Let's see what's on the carb. We got no fuel. How's our oil? It's on there. Now, which way is choke? On. Choke is that way. Give it a pull, see what happens. Oh, that's wiggly. Oh, we have a... Nope, that's all there is. We got anything yet? Oh yeah, we got something. Yeah, it looks like fuel to me. Smells like fuel. Well, let's see what's going on with the plug. Just for kicks. Not bad. Not wet, but not bad. Do we have spark? Yes, we do. go again. What is making you go full throttle? It's an electric throttle. We didn't unplug anything. It's not a warm-up routine. I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm not really familiar with these. Should we let it warm up on choke? See what happens? Throttle valve stuck. It was sticky. That's all it needs, a little lube. Talking about right under that white thing there, there's a return spring. You know, the governor is going to shove that wide open for a cold start, and then the solenoid or motor, whatever it is in here, shuts it. It's got just enough corrosion in there where that was stuck wide open. Huh? Gotta love a mechanical solution. Oh yeah. Guess I could have checked that beforehand. There's our stop. Just gonna flick that a few times. There's our idle screw. At least you can see that part. Okay. It's not exactly springing closed, but you know, I'm fighting the motor here when I'm moving this too. Let's see what happens. Should we plug something in and see what happens? Look at the outlets on this thing. Rusty. Let's try a heat gun. I wonder if this control board is grounded through one of these long bolts we took out that go through the chassis underneath. Because I don't see any lights or anything out here. And that throttle is just not even trying to move. Maybe I'll put it together a little more and we'll give her another run. I'm gonna do some of this off camera and I'll bring you back. We've been running for a bit and the engine's going nice, but we don't seem to be getting anything on the output. Circuit breaker's frozen too. So I'm wondering if there's a ground or something that is preventing this from making any power. That solenoid just hasn't even moved. You can move it by hand, but it's not fighting me at all. Let's take her back apart. Things have escalated. We got the fuel tank out. I pulled those side braces off, and we're down to the bare electronics. Figure out why this has no output. So, the best I can see right now, just at my first glance, is that we have a capacitor right there that has blown its wrapping apart, but I don't know if that means much since there's so much corrosion elsewhere on this rig. That control board is completely potted with epoxy, so there's not a ton to see, but I'm thinking we pop each of these connections off that run down to the stator here in the side of the engine case. Yeah, maybe there's some resistance measurements that we can use. Got to pull up service information about this thing because I do not know much. But in either case, we can check the connections for corrosion and make sure all the wires are intact. That's about all I got right now. Let's go ahead and tear into it. Let's pull some of these connectors out. It's good so far. Boy, that is a tough one. How about a little silicone? Give that a little massage. Oh, what a terrible connector. Ooh, boy, that was awful. Let's take a closer look at the board. There's that capacitor I was talking about. You know what? I don't think it's blown. I think it's just corrosion on the outside of the shell. Corrosion busted the wrapper. Our pins look nice and clean. This is the only connector we know that does anything. That is the switch, the kill switch. And I think all that is grounding of our wire going up to the coil. Nothing special. By the way, the only ground I saw is right there, and that looks fine. I don't see any reason that'd be an issue. I don't want to crack this open if we don't have to. So maybe I'll do some reading on that and see if I can find any specs for these wires coming out of the engine. Give me a smoking gun. I don't want to do electrical work. Look at how much that pull cord got kind of chewed up already. I wonder if that's why it keeps breaking. It's like this, the corrosion on that little guy there. So we've got some factory numbers to work from of the stator. We can test a few of these connectors at least, make sure that at least the output coils are showing some resistance. This 6-pin connector here, black and blue, should be 0.3 ohms. Let's go between pin 1 and ground on the case just to make sure we're bypassing the ground. We get 0.91 ohms. I'm checking that our ground is good. I'll clean it up either way, but it's showing 0.9 ohms at the tail on the connector back here. You can't see. You know, now that I'm looking at it here, we've got a pretty fatty green wire that hides behind there, and that ground looks a little more suspicious to me. Maybe we'll pop the air box off and clean that up. Okay, let's try this big connector. We've got a gray and an orange in here somewhere. Should be reading 0.1 to 0.2. That's high, but at least there's something. And the 3 big wires go to the AC coil. Red and blue. These should all be between 1.4 and 1.5 ohms. 2.3. Red and white. 2.3. Blue and white. 2.3. At least it's consistent. I don't see any huge red flags, but let's pop the air box off and see what that ground looks like. Yeah, that doesn't look awesome, but not the worst. Green is the main ground that feeds into this box. It's a big guy. Well, let's put that back together. I think maybe just reseating these connectors and cleaning the ground might do her. At least I'm somewhat hopeful. Back together again. Sprayed every connector out with our electronics cleaner. Made sure they're all seated nicely. By the way, I was being pretty dumb earlier. These plastic fuel tank retainers, they just come out with 2 screws at the bottom. No big deal. Let's give her a try. And all those screws I took out earlier, I got them with the hacksaw. Made them flathead. Hit them with the anti-seize. That'll be good enough. Still nothing. Nothing on the panel. No response from there. Let's do a little wiggle. Yeah, I wonder if our control board is bad. I'm just not seeing it. I am not seeing anything. That shows something when you very first plug it in, but not a significant amount. I'm really suspecting this control board, and it's unfortunate there's nothing user serviceable in there. We can see if we can get this panel off, I guess. And it's as close as we're gonna get to an answer as anything. I could price out used panels, but I don't know where it'll get us. So yeah, I'll pull this panel off, see if we can get those screws out. Okay, I got our control panel off, and I just finished waging war with our rusty bolts. Manual impact, got them out, first try. What is under there? Oh man, that's crusty. That case ground is probably not doing a whole lot of good. Control box is actually mounted on the back side. This is just the front panel we're looking at now. Nothing looks terrible. This is kind of as deep as we can go, really. I guess let's get those mounting bolts. Not even tight. Those are all pretty loose. So the control wires for the board go straight. The control wires for the front LED panel, they just come straight from the machine. Yeah, I think this is a case of get a known good brain box. Yeah, I'll have to think about it. I'll clean these up. I got to give it one try just to see. You'll be back when I have it back together. Off camera, I checked out that main connector right there, the AC power into the inverter section, which is that big solid state unit in the center there. And then off camera, I also checked out the last two wires, gray and orange, I think it is, on this AC power into the inverter section. So we were getting good 300 or 315 volts AC on these white, blue, and red lines earlier while the engine was running, but these last two, they're just a low voltage 12 volts AC to power the functionality of that inverter. So that's about all we can do, really, as far as testing is concerned. Test the static ohms of the stator and test the AC voltage output while it's running. And of course, the control panel's seen better days, but there's continuity throughout. Circuit breaker's good. As far as smoking guns, all I can point to is that one capacitor that was a little bit swollen. I did look at it, and it is in fact swollen, which is why the wrapper popped, but everything else is encased in epoxy, so who knows. The unfortunate thing, the used or new old stock inverters for this generator run $400 to $450, and they're tough to come by, so I'm thinking this is going to be a loss. And with the general condition of everything, it's just not going to be worth it. But it's a fun learning experience to see how things go together. So we're going to leave it as is and call it a day for now. So thanks for tuning in. I hope you learned something. I sure did. And if you have any input, let me know in the comments. Thanks.